So up until today, you've been told this figure is a parallelogram. Then what are the properties? Okay? What are the properties? Opposite sides, you know two things. What are they? Congruent and parallel. What do you know about opposite angles? Congruent. What do you know about consecutive angles? They equal 180. And what do you know about their diagonals? Be careful here. They bisect each other. Now, the quiz that you did yesterday where you wrote out the 5 properties, they're in the back, and we'll get those at the end. But some of you put, they diagonals bisect, and that's all you put. Well, what do they bisect? They bisect each other. So I took off 5 points, which big deal. You know, a 95 or if it kept you from getting 100, you still got an A. Okay? But you got to be specific, and you've got to know those without being prompted. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles equal 180. Diagonals bisect each other. You've got to know those 5 properties. That being said, today we're going to look at the properties, and we're going to determine whether these figures are parallelograms or not. Okay? Theorem 632 says, if both pairs of opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it is a parallelogram. That's nothing new. That's just what we know said in the opposite manner. Okay? We already know that. Theorem 633, and just that's there for reference. If both pairs, now look at the picture. If both pairs of opposite angles are what? Congruent, then that quadrilateral has to be a what? Parallelogram, right. Pairs of... Oh, yeah, my fault. You're right. I didn't even see that. If both pairs of opposite angles of a quadrilateral, thank you, are congruent, then the quadrilateral is parallelogram. Thank you very much. Now, do you see how they literally are just swapping places? Do you remember back when we went over logic, what that statement is called? You had the conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive. What are these as compared to what we've been going over? Are these the conditional statements, the converse, the inverse, the contrapositives? They're the converses. Why? Because they're just switched. The hypothesis and conclusions have been switched. Look at 634. If a blank of a quadrilateral is blank to both of its blank angles, then the blank is a parallelogram. If a blank of a quadrilateral is, if an angle of a quadrilateral is supplementary, what's supplementary mean? Equals 180. If an angle of quadrilateral is supplementary to both of its consecutive angles, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So how would I fill in that equation down there at the bottom? How would I fill in this? X plus y equals what? What? 180 degrees. And y plus who equals 180 degrees? Oh, it's the same thing. My fault. I got it. Thank you. I see it. If x and y are equal to 180, then y, these are equal to 180. You have to know that, okay? You have to know that. Now, it says if the blank of a quadrilateral blank each other. If the what's of a quadrilateral. Look at the picture. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then the blank is a parallelogram. Then quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Again, have we learned anything new? Nope. Everything that we've learned, it's just been flipped around. Okay? Whoop. Got it? Now, look at the way these questions are going to be asked. Flip that over because it's the next page. It says, show that JKLM is a parallelogram for A equals 3 and B equals 9. Look at what information are we given on this picture? Or whoa. Am I given angle information, side information, or diagonal information? Sides. What do I know about the sides? What's congruent? Sides are never equal to 180. The opposite sides are congruent. They're equal to each other, right? So, then what are we? Opposite sides are congruent. So can I say that JK is equal to what? ML. I think that's what I heard. What is JK? What? JK is what?
15A minus.
Okay. 15A minus 11. What's ML? 10A plus 4. Hey, look what it says. A is 3. What do I need to do with that 3? Put it in place of A. I'm going to substitute. 15 times 3 minus 11 equals 10 times 3 plus 4. 15 times 3 is 45 minus 11. 10 times 3 is 30. What's 45 minus 11? 34. What's 30 plus 4? 34. So, is my A value correct? A is correct. Okay, A does equal 3. That's a good thing. But now how do I verify about my B's? JM is equal to KL, you're right. JM is 8B minus 21. KL is 5B plus 6. You guys with me?
Yes, Harry.
Yes. 9. 8 times 9. 5 times 9. Figure out if this is right, folks. 72 minus 21. That's 51. And what's 45 plus 6? That's 51. So that works out. So that means B is equal to 9. Did we show that for this parallelogram, A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 9? Yeah, we did. Is this really any different? What did we do yesterday? With this problem, what would we have done yesterday? We would have solved for B, and we would have solved for A. And we would have determined from the get-go that A was equal to 3 and B was equal to 9. Today, I'm giving you the values, and I'm saying, prove that this is true. Okay? What do you think? Facile, difficile? This is very facile. Let's look at the next one. You got to look at what you're given. What type of information are you given? Angle measures, okay? Angle measures. You know, a couple of different things about angles. I've got, what kind of angles am I given here? I've got 6y plus 7, 15x minus 16, and 8y minus 6. I have consecutive angles, however, Q, R, and S are all consecutive. Do you guys agree with that? But Q and S are also what? They're also opposite. And we know that opposite angles are what? Congruent. Guys, are you with me or not? Yeah? So if I know that opposite angles are congruent, then I'm going to say that angle Q is congruent to angle who? Angle Q is congruent to angle who? S. Can you figure out if Y is indeed 6.5? They're congruent. Aha. So angle Q, do this on your own paper. Here we go. Q is 6y plus 7. S is 8y minus 6. We want to verify that Y is 6.5. So I'm going to plug that in for Y. Did you solve for Y? No, don't erase it. Did you solve for Y and get 6.5? Okay, it's okay. You did the same thing but a different way. That's all right. Okay? Check this out. 36, 39 plus 7, is that right? 48 and 4 is 52 minus 6. That's 46 and 46. Hey, that worked out. So that does mean that A or Y is 6.5, which you verified the way we've been doing these, right? How do we find if X? How in the world? What do we do? Because I have to verify X.
So if found either one of Q or S, you do that answer plus R.
Is equal to 180 because consecutive angles equal 180. Very good. 6 times 6.5 plus 7, which is 39 plus 7, which makes it 46, right? Which is what we just solved for. I'm going to take 46 plus, let me rewrite it this way. The measure of angle Q plus the measure of angle R is equal to 180 degrees. Do you guys understand that? Do you agree with that? Now, I'm being pretty technical in the way I'm writing this out. The measure of angle Q, we just found that it's 46. The measure of angle R, well, I don't know what it is. Now I definitely don't know what it is. What is the measure of angle R? 15x minus 16 is equal to 180. And we're thinking that in the instructions it said x was equal to what? 10. So I'm going to plug it in there and let's see. What do we want to happen? I want 180 equals 180, right? So we get 46 plus 150 minus 16, which is 196 minus 16, which is, lo and behold, it's equal to 180. So is my Y value correct? That's right. Good answer, guys. Out of class. Questions? Does this make sense? Yes. Okay. Consecutive angles are here and here. If I can do this, or here's another set of consecutive angles. It's the two angles that contain a side. This and this angle contain this side, right? And that side looks like a what? A line. And we know that lines are equal to what? Boom. There's your way to remember it. Okay? Thank you. Here we go. How about this one? Shh, stop talking. What about this one? Pardon? It's both. Both what? Sides and angles. What do you know about these sides, Lauren? How do you know? What kind of sides are they? They're opposite sides. Write this down. What kind of angles are these? Are they opposite angles or consecutive angles? They're consecutive angles. What do you know about consecutive angles? Do you guys agree? Equal 180. Hey, verify if A is 2.4 and B is 9. And you can do it the way you did it yesterday, or you can do it the way we've done it today. Either way, it's going to be right. Okay? Do that now. What did you set up first? First thing we wrote down was about the opposite sides. And what do you know about the opposite sides? They are congruent. So I'm going to say QP is equal to RS. Do you guys buy that? Okay? Right? You don't have to. No. Hold on. What is the measure of QP? 7A. What is the measure of RS? 2A plus 12. Now, it says that A equals 2.4. So I'm going to substitute it in here. Let's see. If it's correct, if it's the correct value of A, then both of my sides are going to equal the same number, right? What is 7 times 2.4? 2.4 is 4.8 plus 12, which is 16.8. That's right. So, is my value of A correct? A does equal 2.4. That's correct because this is a true statement. Yes? Look at the next one. So A is correct. Yay. How am I going to verify B? Set them equal to 180. So I've got the measure of angle Q. Don't erase what you have because you might have it right. I've got the measure of angle Q is 10B minus 16 plus the measure of angle R is 9B plus 25. And now we want to verify that B is equal to 9, correct? Pardon me? I can't hear you with these fans going. All right, so 90 minus 16 plus 81 plus 25 equals 180. May I use your calculator? Let's see what happens here. 90 minus 16 plus 81 plus 25. Hey, I got 180, did you? You should have. But why can you not do that? Because they're consecutive angles, and consecutive angles are what? Equal to 180. Guys, you've got to know. You've got to know. Questions? Check your math again. 80 is equal to 180, then this verifies that B is 9, correct? How many of you had that? Very good. That's it.
I thought it was pretty good. I think better than what we did. I feel like 80 is 80. Yeah, I'm paying attention to the front. I like it.
Here we go. Look at example 4. It says determine if the quadrilateral must be a parallelogram. What are we given? Are we given angle, side, diagonal measures? Angle measures. I'm given 3 angle measures. What kind of angles are they? They're consecutive. But if you're given 3 and they're boom, 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 they are consecutive angles. What do you know about consecutive angles? They equal 180. Now, folks, is 107 plus 73 180? Yeah, it is, isn't it? And I have to check the other side. Is 107 plus 73 180? Yep.
Well, I justified my reasons why the consecutivity was equal to 180.
Yes. And opposite angles are congruent. But excuse me, if you're given 3 angle measures, you rely on your consecutive angles, okay? Excuse me. Yep. Let me ask you something. What if the figure would have looked like this? They're still consecutive, but they don't equal 180. Is this a parallelogram or not? Why? Because it don't equal 180. I would write that down. Not a parallelogram because it does not equal 180 degrees. Write that down. Okay? You would be given 4 angles and not 3 angles.
What does that say?
Not a parallelogram because not equal to 180 degrees.
Where did you get that from?
Flip back to the pretty charts in your notes. Okay? How many pairs of opposite angles are marked congruent? Right here. How many pairs? There's only 1 pair. We only have 1 pair of opposite angles congruent. Watch this. Both, that's diagonals, that's consecutive. This is where I'm going to be nitpicky. So both pairs of opposite sides. This says 1 pair are parallel and congruent. This says both pairs are congruent. This says both pairs of opposite angles, both pairs, meaning 2 pairs. Go back to that problem.
Do we need to be circling?
I might would. We only have 1 pair marked congruent. Do I have enough information to prove those quadrilateral or that quadrilateral is a parallelogram? I do not have enough information. Not enough info because we need 2 pairs of opposite angles congruent. And we only have 1 pair. Now, that's being really nitpicky. But that's what the theorem says. And we have to be nitpicky about that. Okay? Not enough info because we need 2 pairs of opposite angles congruent. Questions? Yeah, but it's not talking about the sides though. This was just showing those 2 angles marked congruent. Okay? Questions? Are you going to remember that? I hope so. Here we go. Properties. Same properties we've been going over. Go to this. It's the bottom of your page, okay? Bottom of your page. It says show that each quadrilateral is a parallelogram for the given values and explain. Folks, it's the same thing we've been doing, okay? What am I given? Kevin, what am I given for example 1? Am I given angles, sides, or diagonals? Sides. What do you know about the sides? What are congruent? Which sides are congruent? The opposite sides are congruent. Kevin, how am I going to set this up? Opposite sides are congruent. I think you said 2x minus 6 equals x plus 3. Yeah. Now it says that x is 9. What do I do? Plug in the 9. Yeah. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 6 is that a true statement? Did y'all get 12 equals 12? Are you going to verify the y value for me? Yeah. How are you going to verify the y value? Jade, wait a minute. Wait. Jade, go. 4y equals y plus 12. What now, Jade? Good. Right on. Write this down. No, why? Why can we not set them equal to 180? The y values, what kind of information is that? Is it angle measures, side measures, diagonal measures? Sides. What do you know about the sides? Opposite sides are what? Congruent. Okay. We're using those properties. Folks, does 16 equal 16? So x is equal to 9 and y is equal to 4. Is that figure a parallelogram? Yep. Yes, sir. Well, this right here is fine. If you solve it 4, that's all right too. Either way is acceptable. What is this doing? This isn't doing anything but reinforcing what you've been taught over the last 2 days. Okay? What about example 2? What kind of information? If I wanted to verify W, if I were wanting to verify W is on the sides. Summer, what am I going to do to verify W? Look at the W's. Their sides. What is it? Set them equal to each other. Why? Because opposite sides are congruent. Please write that down. If you wanted to solve this equation for W, then do it. If you wanted to plug your 3 in for W, do it. Either way is fine. Okay, so 3z plus 25 plus 2z equals 180 because consecutive angles equal 180. Let me move this up so you can see. Oh.
Miss Mary?
Yes, ma'am?
Before the end of the block, I need Jade Stone to come to the office for just a minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What are we going to do with this one? Michael, what am I going to do to verify Z? And speak up because I can't hear with the fans going. Plug it in for Z. 3 times 31 plus 25 plus 2 times 31 is equal to 180. Let's see if that's true. 3 times 31 is 30, that's 93, right? 93 plus 25 plus 62 is equal to 180. What's 93 plus 25 plus 62? 118 plus 62 is 180. So they do equal 180. Is Z 31? Yes. Is this a parallelogram? Yes. It says tell if the following are parallelograms. Chase, what do you think about example 3? Why not? Because these opposite angles are not congruent. And the consecutive angles do not equal 180. They equal actually 140 and 190. That's not cool, right? So is that a parallelogram? Not a parallelogram. Zoe, what do you think about example 4? Why? Opposite angles are congruent. That's good. And, oh, I can't do that way. Let's do it this way. My consecutive angles do equal 180, and you have to check both sets of those, right? So is that a parallelogram, yes or no? Yes. No, if you had to name it, it's a parallelogram. Why? Example 5? Why? So are those angle measures?
I mean, wait, no.
What are they, Maddie? They're diagonals. And what can you tell about this? That they are bisecting each other, right? So if the diagonals bisect each other, what's that mean?
I mean, actually, I did.
Is that a parallelogram or not? Yes. If the diagonal, what's that fifth property of a parallelogram? Diagonals bisect each other. So it is a parallelogram. Close is only good in what? Horseshoes and hand grenades. What about number 6? But it's got 5 and 5, 4 and 4. But they're different pieces, aren't they? If the diagonals bisect, I want you to go back to this one. Then this one would have been 5, and this one would have been 5. The pieces that have 2 marks would have been 4 and 4. The 5 and 5 should be on the same diagonal. So is example 6 a parallelogram? No. These diagonals do not bisect each other. This is not a parallelogram. Okay? They're different. They're different numbers. Guys, do you... Well, I'm going to find out whether you do or not. Okay? Questions at all? Yes, it is. Why? Got several reasons. Opposite sides are congruent. Are opposite angles congruent? Are the consecutive angles equal to 180? Do the diagonals bisect each other? Then yes, sir, a rectangle is a parallelogram. What other figure is a parallelogram? A square, okay? That's what we start tomorrow, okay? It says determine if the quadrilateral must be a parallelogram, folks.
Yeah.
Why?
Opposite angle.
Opposite angles are congruent. It is a parallelogram because opposite angles are congruent. How about the next one? Why not? Because they're not. What's that mean?
Like, they're sharing the same opposite sides are not congruent.
Do you agree with him? Yeah. The opposite sides. If they would have been this and this, then opposite sides would have been congruent. But the way it's drawn on your paper, this is not a parallelogram. You know what that is? Just out of curiosity? Nope. You know what they call a diamond now in the book? This is a kite. And a kite actually has geometric properties, believe it or not. It's kind of weird, but it is in the book. All right? No, it's not a rhombus. We're going to skip right over these. And we're going to skip right over this one.
Skip that one too.
Yeah, we are. Okay, I want you to look at... Okay. Check your odd answers in the back of the book for me, please.